Euro 2024 is just a couple of days away, and since Ireland didn't qualify yet again, I will be supporting whoever England are playing, except Serbia. Serbia. I hope both teams lose. In this video, I'm going to be giving my final predictions for Euro 2024. As always, if you're potentially gambling on Euro 2024, make sure to listen to my picks and do the absolute opposite. And if you're not doing that, make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you are new. Also, shout out to all my channel members. If you want to get your name on that list, click the join button below. Group A, 4th place, Hungary. Now, technically they were in good form, and in competitive matches they have been unbeaten in 12, but they were in a very easy qualifying group which they topped, and their unbeaten streak came to an end by Ireland last week, which is fairly embarrassing. They over-rely on their captain Dominik Szoboszlai, who definitely is a very good player, but if he doesn't show up, then Hungary aren't going to show up and they're not going to win the game. I think they're going to get maximum 1 point out of this group and finish dead last. 3rd place, Switzerland. Switzerland are always underrated. They're always the underdogs, and I'm definitely underrating them here by putting them in 3rd, but I kind of feel like that generation of players where they were always the underdog, the dark horses going into tournaments, that's kind of past. All those players are older, although Xhaka had a very good season with Bayer Leverkusen. The likes of Shaqiri, their time is gone. They might get to the knockout stages by a 3rd place spot, but I don't think they're getting 1st or 2nd in this group. 2nd place, Scotland. Scotland's qualifying process was definitely very impressive, especially the early stages, getting wins over Spain and Norway. It deteriorated towards the end, but maybe that was because they already knew they were going to qualify. I like this Scotland team. I like Scott McTominay being their main goal scorer. I find that quite funny. I can definitely see him scoring a few goals at the Euros, maybe one to send them through to knockout stages, because I think they will finish 2nd. 1st place, Germany, the hosts of this tournament. They should realistically win every single game in this group. 9 points, fairly straightforward. They're going to have a very good Euros, being the host nation. They'll have that extra bit of home support, and it'll probably be their first successful major tournament since the World Cup they won in 2014. Group B, 4th place, Albania. I've had a lot of comments from Albanian people saying I'm underestimating them and that I should give them a little bit more respect. But look at this group. Tell me Albania don't finish dead last in this group. It's the group of death. They're the worst team on paper by far, and they would be lucky to get a single point. 3rd place, Italy. The defending champions potentially going out in the group stage depending on how the 3rd place works, and I think it probably is the right call. It's not like Italy have been impressive since they won the Euros. They didn't qualify for the World Cup, and they struggled to qualify for this Euros, leaving it down to the last game versus Ukraine, a game in which Ukraine should have had a penalty. Had they won, Ukraine would have got the automatic spot. They could potentially have a good tournament. They have good players. They have a good manager, but this group is really difficult, and I think they're the 3rd best team in it. 2nd place, Spain. I think Spain could have a really good Euros because they're not quite in the bracket of being the favourites, so there's not a lot of pressure on them, but they're still a very good team. They're probably in the bracket below. Lamine Yamal has been very impressive in his few appearances for Spain, and if he has a good tournament, which I think he will, you won't stop hearing the media say he's only 16. It's a group of death. It's going to be difficult for Spain, but I do think they're going to get a 2nd place finish. 1st place, Croatia. I think this might shock a few people, but they're always underestimated going into tournaments, so my logic here is I'm going to overestimate them and say they're going to top the group of death. It's one last dance for this golden generation of Croatian players, likely Luka Modric's last tournament, so his last chance to get a hand on a trophy, and we might just see it happen. 4th place, Serbia. I made my feelings clear about Serbia in the intro, but I also just don't think they're in a good shape right now. Yes, they qualified for the Euros through an automatic spot, but their group was fairly easy and they didn't even top it. Hungary topped it. Bar Hungary, the rest of their competition was Bulgaria, Lithuania and Montenegro. It's not going to be a good summer in Germany for Serbia. 3rd place, I've gone with Slovenia. They're a decent side. They have a few good players like Jan Oblak and Benjamin Šeško. They're nothing special, and I don't think they're going to compete with either of the top 2 teams to get an automatic qualification spot. 2nd place, I'm going with England. They'll definitely get out of this group, but I can see Southgate having a bit of a disaster class and England maybe drawing a game or losing to Denmark. But to be honest, if I were to describe my dream Euro 2024 for England, I would say they play brilliant in every single game. They easily top the group. Round of 16, no bother to them. Quarterfinals, they struggle, but they still get by. Semi-finals, easily win. The English fans are dreaming, and in the Euros final, they take a 1-0 lead against Germany. There's 3 minutes left in the game. It looks like England are going to win the Euros, and then Germany score 2 goals, and all the English are heartbroken. 1st place, I'm going with Denmark. Like a lot of other nations, it's probably the last dance for their golden generation. The likes of Eriksen, Schmeichel, Kjær probably won't play in the next major tournament, maybe Højbjerg as well. But there's also some young players for the Danish to be excited about, the likes of Damsgaard and Rasmus Højlund. I think Højlund will score against England to get Denmark a result. They'll win the other 2 games and they will top this group. 4th place, Austria. Austria are a very good team, but looking at this group, another very strong one with 4 good teams. I think Austria are probably the worst, although they do have some very good players. Sabitzer's coming off a good season with Dortmund. Arnautovic scored a few goals for Inter Milan this season. They have a good team, but I just don't think it matches any of the other ones in this group. 3rd place, I've gone with Poland. Now, Poland and Austria could potentially interchange. I just looked at the head-to-head. They've played 5 times in competitive matches, Poland winning 3. In those last 5 competitive games, Austria haven't beaten Poland, so football history would suggest Poland win. History would suggest Austria win. 2nd place, the Netherlands. They have a really good team. I watched them beat Canada 4-0. They looked very very impressive, although Canada were bad. It's a good Netherlands side that could go far. They're probably in the same category that I put Spain, where they're not quite the favourites, but they're definitely a very good team that could potentially win it. Although the team I've put in first in this group are probably the favourites for the whole tournament. First, I've gone France. They have the best squad in international football by far and away. It is absolutely incredible. Mbappe is arguably the best player in the world right now, because we saw he scored a hat-trick in a World Cup final. France did lose that World Cup final, so they'll be desperate to get their hands on this trophy, a tournament they haven't won since 2000. Fourth place Romania. They don't have the most impressive of squads. I don't even know how they qualified for the Euros, to be honest. Their star boy Hadji has had a poor season in the Liga, playing 22 times, scoring 0. I'd honestly be surprised if they get a draw at this tournament. I just don't think they're good enough, and they're going to finish this group on 0 points, dead last. Third place Slovakia. A few decent players here and there, but no real players in incredible form going into this tournament. Now, form might go out the window in the tournament and they might finally start to show up. I don't really see that happening in a 3-game group stage format. They'll get the win over Romania, and that's about it. Second place, I'm going Belgium. The Belgian golden generation is done. It's over. Courtois won't be at the tournament due to injury. Hazard is already retired. In his previous tournament, De Bruyne did not show up for his country. I don't think Belgium are going to show up at Euros. They'll get out this group because it's a fairly easy group, but they'll probably get knocked out in the round of 16. And that will well and truly put a nail in the coffin of Belgium's dream of a major tournament win during this golden generation. First place, I'm going Ukraine. Ukraine are my dark horses for Euro 2024, because when you look at this squad, it really is quality. Mudryk always seems to show up for his country. He is lightning fast pace that will cause any defender problems. He's a genuine quality footballer on his day. Lunin is coming off a fantastic season with Real Madrid, some brilliant performances in the Champions League. He has a lot of confidence. He's in the form of his life, so he's going to be ready for this tournament in goals. Then you have Doibek up front, who has just come off a season where he scored over 20 goals in the Liga for Girona. He's been fantastic. You also have a lot of other players who may not be in the best of form, but are still quality, for example Zinchenko. Ukraine have a really good squad. I think they top this group, and I think they make it to the quarterfinals, maybe even further. They are my dark horses. Group F, 4th place Georgia. They're just not a great team. The story's nice. It's their first major tournament. It was a cool way in which they qualified for it, but you know, their defence is absolutely awful. They conceded the most goals in the qualifying stages. Yes, they have players like Kvaratskhelia, but that's not going to be enough. They might get a draw here and there, maybe one win, but I think they're going to finish last in this group. Third place Czech Republic. They were really good in the last Euros, and that was mainly down to Patrick Schick scoring an absolute worldie, and he was just all round generally great in that tournament. His form has really dipped off over the last couple of years. A lot of injuries, so he probably won't be able to carry them out of the group. Maybe his Leverkusen teammate Klojek will be able to help, but I don't see it happening, and I see them finishing third. Second place Turkey. I'm not going to hype up Turkey's squad. I think it's good, but we all know what happened last Euros. They were everyone's dark horses. Everyone thought, you know what, maybe they could go far, and then they didn't even get out of the group. I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to curse Turkey. I'm not going to jinx them. I'm not going to say anything. All I'm going to say is they're going to get out of the group, and we'll talk after. First place Portugal. This is going to be an absolute playground of a group for them. They're going to score the most goals in the entire group stage because, well, they're just better than everyone else by far and away, and they were the highest scoring team in the qualifying stages. It's going to be fairly straightforward. They're going to win every single game and book an easy place into the knockout stages. So those were my Euro 2024 group stage predictions. Let me know what you thought of them in the comments. What have I got wrong? I'll react to them after the Euros, and hopefully I'll get at least one group right. Let me know your predictions in the comments. Thank you all so much for watching, and shout out to all my members. Subscribe if you are new, and I'll see you in the next one.